Today on Corrina's mystery grocery bag, I'm going to reveal what's in my grocery bag. The theme today is beverages that claim to be healthy on the label, or that people generally think are healthy. So in this grocery bag, I'm going to reveal the junk beverages disguised as healthy beverages. And in this bag, I'm going to reveal the healthy alternatives, healthy beverages that you can drink. So leave your guess and let me know, what do you think is in this bag? Be sure to watch the video so you can find out. So let's dig right in and see what we've got. Okie dokie, this is a good one. The Arizona iced tea. So just looking at this label, we have the words 100% natural, green tea with ginseng and honey. So this is definitely kind of telling us that this is something healthy to consume, but let's look at the ingredient label here. So the first thing I want to point out is that there's 17 grams of sugar per serving, but there are 3 servings in this can. If you drink this whole can of tea, you've consumed 51 grams of sugar, which is more than a 12-ounce Coca-Cola and just a little bit less than a 20-ounce Coca-Cola. So there's a lot of sugar in this little baby. And looking in the ingredients, we have, of course, the green tea. The second ingredient is high fructose corn syrup. Then we've got natural flavors. So for something that says 100% natural on the label, for it to contain high fructose corn syrup, here immediately we've got a huge oxymoron, right? Because corn, growing out of the ground on a cob, is a natural food, but refined corn and processed corn, stripping out all the nutrients and just narrowing it down to the sweet part to make high fructose corn syrup is not a natural process. This is a process done in a laboratory by scientists, and this is not a healthy thing to consume. Then we also have the ever ominous natural flavors, which can indicate any number of different chemicals. So I just in general try to avoid anything that contains natural flavors. And I would not consider this a healthy beverage. Things that contain this much sugar, and especially this much high fructose corn syrup, are what are going to contribute to us gaining weight and becoming obese. And to give you an alternative, here is a tea. Now this is actually from the Tea Embassy, and this is just tea leaves. And so you would actually pour out the tea. I can kind of show you what it looks like. So you would pour out the tea, and there are little tea bags you can purchase. You can also use an infuser. It smells amazing. But the cool thing about drinking actual natural tea is that we get a lot of health benefits. So green tea is packed with antioxidants. All of the different blends of tea all offer different nutrients, but this is 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 chemicals. It's going to be a lot healthier than one of these chemical concoction kind of drinks. The only thing I want to note about tea is that some tea is caffeinated, so you want to be aware of that. And if you're really trying to, optimize your health, you're going to want to avoid the caffeinated teas. Moving right along, let's see what's next. Okay, this guy wants to come out. Powerade. So Powerade, sports drink with B vitamins in it. This is a drink that people drink when they're working out, because we know that when we're working out, we need electrolytes. So these drinks have become really popular, and they're kind of claiming that, hey, this is something healthy for you to drink while you're working out. But let's take a little look at this nutrition and ingredient label and just evaluate these claims that are being made. So the first thing I want to point out is that we've got 21 grams of sugar per serving, but there's 2.5 servings in this container, and chances are you're gonna drink the whole thing, right? So that's about 50 grams of sugar that you just drank up while you were working out and trying to lose weight, which is kind of bass-ackwards, right? Because if we eat that much sugar, it's gonna contribute to us gaining weight. And I just want you to kind of put in perspective, it's about the same amount of sugar that we had in the Arizona iced tea. That is more sugar than you'd get in a 12-ounce Coca-Cola. That's more sugar than you'd get in a candy bar. So just equate this with candy. And moving a little bit further, if we look at these ingredients, we've got high fructose corn syrup as the second ingredient here. So High fructose corn syrup. We're starting with genetically modified corn, then we are refining it, and then we are further processing it to make it even higher in fructose, even higher in sugar than just the corn syrup is. And oftentimes you'll see high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup on a label. So there's nothing natural about high fructose corn syrup. We keep going, and then we see modified food starch. I mean, who knew that there was food inside of your sports drink? We also have calcium disodium, EDTA. And when we see these kind of unassuming acronyms like EDTA, TBHQ, BHT, just recognize that is an abbreviation for a much longer chemical name that they don't want to put on the label. Because EDTA is actually ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid, and that would make this ingredient list even longer. These food chemicals, food additives, many of them are actually limited by the FDA, and so it'll actually say on the label less than 0.5% or less than 0.2%. But what I want you to realize is that these different chemicals are found in almost every food and beverage that we drink if we're drinking these processed drinks and processed foods. So if we're getting just a little bit of these chemicals in every single thing that we drink every day, well, the exposure is going to accumulate and can potentially be dangerous. We also have brominated vegetable oil, which we did an entire video about. This is a flame retardant chemical that is used in kind of citrusy flavored beverages. It's also in Mountain Dew, but this is a flame retardant chemical. So if you want your guts to be flame retardant, go ahead and drink up. And just to really top it off, we also have Red 40, an artificial color, which is also not good for us and is implicated in learning disabilities and is actually banned in several different countries. So in my opinion, this is not a safe or healthy beverage to consume, but I want to give you an alternative. If you aren't familiar with coconut water, then I highly recommend that you familiarize yourself with coconut water because it's awesome. And just to show you a comparison of the ingredient labels here, we've got about over a dozen ingredients in the Powerade and one ingredient in the coconut water, and that's coconut water. So the cool thing about coconut water is that it contains electrolytes. And what that means is just charged hydrogen ions that are in the food or in the drink and that are really good for us and kind of help improve our health, help improve our energy. So we've got lots of hydrogen ions in coconut water. It's actually more hydrating than water. So if you're feeling thirsty, coconut water is going to be a really awesome thing to go for. And I just want to point out that there are some coconut water beverages out there that have an ingredient list that I would avoid. So this one actually has sugar in it and has some, other regulators and preservatives in it. So this is probably still a way better bet than our Powerade over here, but I just want to point out that looking at the ingredient label is going to tell you a lot and give you a lot of control and making sure that you're getting something healthy. And I also saw, while I was in the store, this is just the Randall's brand, but it's electrolyte water. And again, we can look at these ingredients, and it's just distilled water and electrolytes. So even this would be a good step up from any of these Powerade type drinks, and hopefully something that you enjoy drinking. So up next, we've got a Snapple. Everybody loves the Snapple lady, right? So just looking at the front of this label, we have the words all natural, lightly sweetened, and this also in very small print here, it says naturally flavored with other natural flavors. Whatever the heck that means. So let's just turn this over and look at our label here. So actually this guy is the lowest sugar content of anything we've had so far. It's just got 18 grams of sugar, but it is worth noting that the second ingredient is sugar. And it's also worth noting that most of the sugar, when it just says sugar on the label, is made from sugar beets because it's a lot cheaper than sugar cane. And sugar beets are on the list of the top genetically modified crops in the United States. So chances are really good that even though it says made from the best stuff on earth, it's actually made from genetically modified sugar. We also have, again, the ever ominous natural flavors. And I just want to point out that when something says natural flavors, there are dozens of different chemicals that can assume that name on the label. So some of these flavors, or all of these flavors rather, they can extract them with any processing means from any organism, animal, or plant. And that includes bugs. So cochineal, carmine, these are just a couple examples of chemicals that are literally extracted from bugs. And I don't like to eat bugs. If I was gonna eat bugs, I would wanna eat the whole bug and not just some weird chemical extracted from the bug. So again, I personally avoid natural flavors. I would avoid a product like this. And I just would drive home, again, the idea of drinking natural tea and getting the benefits of drinking tea, which is like the antioxidants and the other benefits that we get, and recognizing that if we just buy the tea leaves, or even if we just have the actual tea bag, it's not gonna contain all that sugar, all those chemicals, it's not gonna contain bugs. So before I get to the absolute worst drink that kind of pretends to be a healthy drink, I'm going to get to what's probably the least offensive of the things that are in my mystery grocery bag. So here we have V8, and this is actually the low sodium V8. And let's see if I can get one of these out of here so I can show you the ingredient label on this guy. So what I want to just mention is that, of course, drinking one of these is going to be probably way better than drinking any of these other super sugary beverages. But if V8 is the only source of vegetables that you're getting, then that's really not sufficient. And we'll just look at this ingredient label and see why I might say something like that. So the first thing I want to point out is that even though this is the low sodium version, this little itty bitty tiny cute little can still has 95 milligrams of sodium in it, which is a pretty significant amount of sodium, especially for somebody with heart issues, or maybe they're really concerned about trying to keep their sodium down. And then if we look at this ingredient list, we have reconstituted vegetable juice, carrots, tomatoes, beets, parsley, spinach, etc. And the only thing I want to point out about that is that when they say reconstituted vegetable juice, you and I have no way of knowing what that chemical process actually entails or how they actually reconstituted those vegetable juices. The healthiest way to consume a vegetable is just to eat it whole, or put it through a high quality juicer. So that's probably the first thing I would mention. And then also, once again, we've got this ever ominous natural flavoring, which could mean any number of different chemicals. So this really, as I mentioned, of course, is going to be a better choice than these other beverages I've mentioned, but I wouldn't necessarily consider this one of the healthiest beverages you can drink. And I don't really have an alternative for the V8, but I do want to tell you about something that I really enjoy, and that is kind of could satisfy the same, flavors or craving you might be having. So this is apple cider vinegar. This is a fermented product, so it has probiotic properties. It also has alkalizing properties. And you can cook with apple cider vinegar, you can use it to make salad dressings, but you can also add it to water. And this is something that I've been doing for a while, just adding a little bit to water. And literally I pour it in the cap and just kind of do little bit by little bit, because you need to go by taste. And just starting out, you'll probably just use a little bit in your water, but then as you go, in my case, for instance, I add more and more and more because I really like the flavor. So this is something that's actually going to give you benefits, health benefits, but it's a good way to kind of flavor your water, add a little something extra to your water, so that it has a little bit more flavor, and is still good for you too. Minute Maid cranberry grape flavored juice beverage. So let's see what it means when it says it's a flavored juice beverage. So looking at this label, the first thing I want to point out is that it actually says right here at the top, 25% juice blend. So you have to ask yourself, what's the other 75% contained in this bottle? Then moving on down, we've got 71 grams of sugar in this, what is really a pretty little tiny bottle of juice. So that's, I think, more sugar than anything else we've talked about so far. That's more sugar than you get in a 20-ounce Coke, which is 65 grams. So this is actually more sugar than if you drank a 20-ounce soda. And then if we look at these ingredients, again, the second ingredient is high fructose corn syrup, which I've already talked about, so I won't mention that discussion again. Then we also have apple cranberry grape juice made from concentrate, which again, we don't really know what that means. How do they concentrate it? Do they do something to it? How much do they process it? Do they heat it up? We really don't know, right? Because they don't tell us that. And then we have natural flavors. Once again, so I think literally every single thing that I've pulled out of my bag so far contains these natural flavors. And I'll just mention that since this is a cranberry grape red drink, it's possible that the castoreum natural flavor is what's contained in here. So I don't know for a fact, but the castoreum is a natural flavor that they procure from the anal glands of a beaver. So literally, it's beaver butt juice. And as I mentioned, I don't necessarily know that it's in this product, but you don't either, because when something says natural flavors, we have no idea what that actually means. So this is really not what I would consider a healthy drink. And if we're drinking fruit juices, it's probably because we're trying to do something healthier. And so it's really unfortunate that this guy's kind of deceiving us in that way. So let me talk quickly about an alternative. So my favorite thing to do, getting a little bit crowded here on my table, is to actually make my own flavored fruit beverage. So what I would do, I like to, you could of course use regular water, but if you want to get a little bit of fizz, then you could use a sparkling water or carbonated water. This one is Perrier. There's lots of different brands out there. And you'll see as I pour it that we get a nice little fizzing action. Well, this one's a little flat, so we're not getting quite as much fizzy action. And then you can add anything to your water that you want. So what I've got here is apples. I've already chopped them up into little pieces, as you can see. But you could also add blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. You could add anything you wanted. Another one of my favorite flavored waters is with cucumber, especially if it's hot outside and you're working out, for instance. Cucumber water is really, really, really refreshing. So you can just drink this straight up instantly. You could let it sit there for a while. If you've got kids, kind of a fun thing to do is give them a fork or something and let them really squish the heck out of the fruit in the bottom, and that'll really release the flavor. But really what I want to mention is that the healthiest way to satisfy a sugar craving or to enjoy a fruit flavoring is to actually just eat the whole piece of fruit itself. Because when you eat the whole piece of fruit, you get all of the fiber and you get a lot of the other benefits that you're not going to get in one of these juice drinks where they've reconstituted or concentrated the fruit in the first place. So actually just eating the whole piece of fruit is going to be a way better bet than one of these fruit flavored beverages. So now we are on to the absolute worst of the worst, and that is a Diet Coke. And the reason that I'm including that in this video is because it says the word diet on it. So a lot of people who are on a diet, either trying to lose weight or trying to get healthy, will see something like this and will kind of consider that, oh, hey, this is something that's safe for me to drink while I'm on my diet, or this is something that's going to help me lose weight. And unfortunately, it's just not true at all. So a couple things that I can point out looking at this ingredient label here. So Aspartame is the sweetener of choice in these diet beverages, and really any beverage that says light or no calorie sweetener or something like that is usually going to contain one of these artificial sweeteners like aspartame. So these chemicals have been shown to have neurotoxic effects, which means toxicity to your brain. There are also people, it's phenylketonurotics. I feel bad, I'm not pronouncing that well. But anyways, the phenylalanine that's contained in the aspartame, some people are literally deathly allergic to it. So there's actually a pretty big warning label on here that people who are allergic to it should not be drinking this beverage. We also have natural flavors, once again, and caffeine. And what I want to mention is that Diet Coke, even though it does not list the caffeine content on the label, it actually contains more caffeine than regular soda. So a lot of people will say, I'm addicted to Diet Coke. And that's why, because it actually has more caffeine than regular Coke does. So not only are we getting the negative effects of the caffeine, we also have the artificial sweeteners, the caramel color, the phosphoric acid, which we also did a video on. So phosphoric acid is a chemical that they extract from rocks, and it's part of what gives it the tangy flavor. So in my opinion, Diet Coke is not a healthy thing to consume. It's definitely not gonna help you lose weight. So if you are trying to lose weight and you're drinking Diet Coke, recognize that, hey, it's not working, and this would be a really good thing to try and give up. And to offer you an alternative, now of course there are several different kind of healthy soda products out there that are either don't contain caffeine or don't contain high fructose corn syrup. Certainly that would be a good step up from these beverages, but this guy is actually going to give you a lot of health benefits. So this is kombucha. This may or may not be available in your area. Some people will be familiar with it, but kombucha is a fermented beverage. So again, this is going to give us probiotic benefits. It's also going to give us alkalizing benefits. And if we turn it over and look at the ingredient label, we have organic raw kombucha, blackberry juice, passion fruit juice, and 100% pure love. So we can see that, well, there's no natural flavors, there's no artificial colors, there's no aspartame, but this is a really awesome beverage, and I at this point am pretty much addicted to kombuchas, and I just want to show you, well, first what I'll show you is how you get this ready. So you don't ever want to super shake up your kombucha the way you would with a V8 or something, right? So what you want to do is just gently kind of turn it over, and you'll kind of see the stuff in the bottom kind of start to go around. We kind of just gently turn it over because this is really, really effervescent. You'll probably see as I start to open this how effervescent it is. So nice. But kombucha, one cool thing is that there's tons of different flavors. So you can enjoy pretty much whatever kind of flavor that you want. But this is a really nice fizzy carbonated drink, a really good alternative to sodas. Really refreshing and also really healthy. So before I close out, I just wanted to kind of give you the lineup here. This is in order of sugar content, from least sugar content to most sugar content. So quickly I'll just run through these. So of course the tea leaves and the water don't contain any sugar. There are 4 grams of sugar per 8 ounces of kombucha. There are 5 grams per sugar, 5 grams of sugar per 8 ounces of V8. Now there are 8 grams of sugar per 8 ounces of coconut water, but again, since this just had that one ingredient, 100% coconut water, this is natural sugars that are naturally present in a coconut. And if you've ever cracked a coconut open and drank the water out, you know that it definitely has a sweet taste. Then moving along to this Snapple, we've got 18 grams per bottle, that's 16 ounces, so that's 9 grams of sugar per 8 ounce serving. Then moving a little bit further, we have this Powerade, and again, this is 21 grams of sugar per 12 ounces, so maybe about 18 grams of sugar per 8 ounces there. Then inside of this Arizona iced tea, we've got 17 grams of sugar per 8 ounces. In this Mountain Dew, we have 77 grams of sugar. Now this is a 20-ounce bottle, so we could say roughly 30 grams of sugar, somewhere around in there per 8 ounces. And it's about the same in this Minute Maid. So this Minute Maid has 71 grams of sugar in 15 ounces. So it actually probably has more sugar than the Mountain Dew. We could estimate that somewhere around 35, 33 grams of sugar per 8-ounce serving. And I want you to leave me a comment and let me know, does this surprise you? Is there anything surprising about this? I think this area is a little surprising that we actually have more sugar in the Arizona iced tea than the Powerade, and more sugar in the Minute Maid than we even do in a Mountain Dew. And it's worth noting that Mountain Dew is notoriously one of the highest sugar content sodas on the market. In the next edition of Corrina's Mystery Grocery Bag, I'm going to count down the worst snacks that claim to be healthy, but maybe aren't so healthy, and as always, offering you healthy alternatives. So in this video, I mentioned that when we see natural flavoring on a label, it could be a chemical which is actually taken from anal glands of a beaver, right? We could call it beaver butt juice. So in another video, I'm gonna count down the top 10 weirdest, freakiest, most disgusting food chemicals. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you'll leave me a comment letting me know your thoughts. If you'd like to learn more about me and my health coaching practice, you can visit me at CorrinaRachel.com, or of course, friend me on the Facebook. Please be sure to subscribe to the Psyche Truth channel. We're dedicated to helping you take control of your health and happiness. We post a new video every day, so we do hope you'll subscribe. Be sure to visit me again next time. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to learn more about high fructose corn syrup, check out my video, The Truth About High Fructose Corn Syrup. Did you know that soda drinks are more acidic than acid rain? To learn more, check out the video, How Acidic Are Soft Drinks? Today I talked about drinks that claim to be healthy but aren't. And if you'd like to see my video about foods that claim to be healthy but aren't, you can check out Mystery Shopping Bags, Unhealthy, Healthy Foods. What are the foods contributing the most to obesity and our inability to lose weight? Check out my video, The Top 10 Obesity-Causing Foods.